Hey, She Army. Thanks so much for joining me on this live broadcast. I'm Crystal Renee, host of Simply She, and I'm joined here today with Desireia Valteau. She is one of our day 3 speakers for the Simply She Movement Virtual Summit. So excited to have her here. Welcome, Desireia.
Hi, thank you for having me. I am so excited to be here with you and with everyone.
Yes. So just tell the listeners a little bit about yourself. Just a little snippet,
A
little
little
background.
bit, okay. I'll give the under 60-second version. I am a journalist by trade right out of college. I moved to Los Angeles from New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm New Orleans native. Moved out here and was an entertainment reporter for a small syndicated radio show, and I did everything. It was entertainment, and because it was so small, I was able to interview everybody, actors, musicians. We started out as with musicians, and then around the mid '90s, that's when the record labels started to kind of fold a little bit, and then we had to pivot, and we started doing more movies and films. So I've interviewed a lot of people. A lot of people say I'm jaded, but it's just that that's just because of it. And because I had started interviewing all of these movie people, TV people, I said, well, I can do this. I didn't want to be in front of the camera, so I wanted to produce and write. So I have done some documentary style writing for the Africa Channel, and I'm currently producing a web series called Black Kung Fu Chick.
Ooh.
That and it's exciting as it sounds. It's kind of a play on obviously the Karate Kid, and it's about a young African American woman who lives in South Central Los Angeles. And many people, when they hear South Central Los Angeles, you know what comes to mind. But no, this is not that kind of party. This is about real. There are all kinds of Black people and other people of color who live in the area who are not into that element that we normally associate with South Central. And she's just a regular Black girl who dreams of becoming a doctor. And but she has some trouble along the way, and she has to do tutoring, and her teacher is a Chinese American man, and so it's very diverse. The star is a young Black girl, her best friend is a Mexican American, and her teacher is a Chinese American, and it's Black Kung Fu Chick, and you can go to blackkungfuchick.com. And because of my journalism background, I was like, okay, I want to do a podcast. Undergroundmagnolia.com, and magnolia is the flower, the state flower of Louisiana. And I'm just telling it like it is with my podcast. I wanted it to be a strictly entertainment podcast, but because of the COVID-19, it just begs so many questions for the Black community and for communities of color. How do I take care of myself physically, my skin, my hair, mentally? So I've been doing those types of shows, which have been more popular than my entertainment show. So go figure.
Yeah, so you kind of had to pivot during COVID, as a lot of us have, in terms of our business and what services we might provide, and get a little bit creative. So you kind of went into like how you guys started podcasting. So tell us a little bit more about your show. You said it was an entertainment podcast. So like, what's the original premise, and then now like what are some upcoming episodes? Maybe what does that look like?
So my tagline is elevated entertainment. So whenever you have, something recorded, it is entertainment no matter what you're kind of talking about, because you're entertaining people. People are watching, they're giving, they want to know what's going on. So, and that's spirit works. So my most recent podcast that I just posted earlier this week, Wednesday, it features Latoria Lemon, who is a young African-American woman. She's a millennial. She lives in Houston, and she's a publicist. And she doing her own thing. She started doing it, doing public relations while she was attending Clark Atlanta University. And she is representing celebrities, including Beyonce's Be Good Foundation. And more recently, she was actually the official publicist to handle George Floyd's funeral and memorial services. And when you see publicists, they're cast in a very negative light. But her, I have a very long segment of her explaining what it is she had to do. She had to do things like making sure that Mr. Floyd's casket arrived on time. She had to check in people at the funeral. So, it was a very somber event, and it became more than just a job. It was a responsibility. She had a responsibility to the community and to acknowledge, what was going on. Also, in that show, I did Holly Shorts, which is a short film festival that's currently going on until tomorrow. And I also did a music review of Moses Sumney. You know who Moses Sumney is?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I don't feel so bad. Moses Sumney, I just discovered this man about a month ago. He is a Ghanaian American, and his music people consider it alternative, instrumental, experimental rather. And I was doing something and his music just popped up and I was like, what is this? What is this? And he's just wonderful. So you gotta check him out. So that is like my most entertainment podcast that I have done. But before that, I did mental health. I talked to a Black dermatologist to tell us how to take care of our skin. He heads up, his name is Dr. Corey Hartman, and he heads up his own practice in Birmingham, Alabama. Who would think, but Birmingham is really, it's like a hub, like it's a hub for engineers. It's also a hub for dermatology. And of course, there's a lot of Black people in the South. So, so we need to take care of our skin. And it doesn't matter. Let me just say this, doesn't matter what your complexion is, how light, how dark, everybody needs to be wearing sunscreen. And my husband is from Nigeria, and I was like, you got to wear. So I don't need sunscreen. I'm from Nigeria. I'm like, no, everybody needs to wear it. So that's my tip for the day. And so I've just been doing. I've also my most popular episode was actually on natural hair care. I profiled a young African-American woman, Deja Brown, and she created her own natural hair care literally in her kitchen, and she's selling it. She works for Microsoft, and she's just doing it. So I'm just kind of, I'm kind of bouncing around, but also look at it when you open up the pages of Essence magazine or really any type of magazine. What do you get? You get entertainment, you get self-care, health and wellness. So,
right.
No, I'm not, she thinks she's Essence. No, but it's, it's hard to stay in one lane because so many people so many people, they know you, and then they're like, well, why don't you talk about this? Why don't you talk about that? What about this? What about that? So,
yeah, no, I completely understand. With my podcast, it's kind of like the similar thing. It's like it ends up being a cross between like entrepreneurship tips or business tips, self-care, self-love, and then like this is some financial advice in there as well, and then women empowerment. So all those things like fuse together. So it's not just necessarily one topic. So I completely get it, understand. Yeah. So what? Tell us what your favorite thing about podcasting is.
My favorite thing about podcasting is that you can talk about whatever in the heck you want to talk about. Now, hopefully, I know some people may have corporate jobs or, whatever. So you want to be concerned about that. Okay, fine. I guess I'm different in the sense that I am an actual journalist. And a lot of people who start podcasting and do blogging, they're not. So I'm used to this kind of thing. So for me, when you're writing for different publications and websites or whatever, there's, you just have to write something straight, and, you don't want to get in all of your opinion. But for me, and from where I sit, I get to say what I want to say. I get to talk about the topics that I want to talk about. I am the producer of my own show. I get to say what I want and produce what I want.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I can say what I want to say. If I want to change the show tomorrow, I can change the show tomorrow, and that's it. That's all, right? So completely get it. Freedom is, I think,
Freedom. Yes. It's a platform. It's a platform. And talking, being a writer. Oh, I gotta write. But when you're talking, and yes, I do have a script. But when you're talking, you can really express yourself. People can see your passion, or not see, but hear your passion, and really understand what you're talking about. People have asked me, well, aren't you gonna, what about, are you going to join YouTube? I don't know. I mean, in small steps, which is what I will be talking about tomorrow in my presentation. But no, not yet. I just, I'll get to that later.
Right. There's so many different things, so many different ways you could go, so many things you could do with the podcast. So completely agree with that. And I can't wait to hear your presentation tomorrow. Guys, if you haven't signed up for the summit, there's 1 day left. You definitely don't want to miss Desireia's presentation. Day 3, she's going to be speaking at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. That's 11:30 a.m. Eastern, because Desiree is on the West Coast. So, gotta make sure we say she's speaking 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And she's going to be talking about elements of a successful podcast. So you definitely don't want to miss that. We can go ahead and take some questions. We do have some folks watching. So we'll pause for questions. Does anybody have any questions or comments for us?
Ask me anything. I'm an open book.
Questions or comments? You got some hearts and some thumbs up. So
all right. Well, thank you. Thank you.
That's good. Okay. All right. So guys, hopefully what Desiree has shared today has been helpful. And we will be on day 3 of the summit tomorrow. So you'll probably be seeing me again, come on here live, talking to you guys, telling you all about it. In the meantime, just remember, you too can conquer if you slay hard every day. Take care.
Thank you. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.